Crowhill here. Today we review a holiday ale and ask, are college students getting dumber? Well, hey, good evening, Pigweed.
Good evening, Crowhill.
Right.
How about some beer and conversation?
That sounds like a great idea. What are we drinking?
This is a holiday ale.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to tell you until we get in.
Okay, very good. Fantastic.
What's on your mind?
So I remember several years ago, one of the kids, all the kids were good readers, and we would take the kids to the library once a week, and we had this great big bag of library books. And one of my kids, Major Crowhill, not a major at the time, but would read, 5 to 10 books a week.
Lovely.
And we put her in a private Catholic school, and they assigned this book, and the teacher said, just read chapters 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Well, it was a good book. So Major Crowhill read the whole book.
Okay.
And then got in trouble with the teacher for having read the whole book. Now this was not some dumb public school. This was a high academic standard private Catholic school.
Right.
And you're getting mad at a kid for reading the whole book.
Right. Well, here. I have this graphic here that applies.
Okay.
In 1985.
Yeah.
Kids who read almost every day is up here around 35%.
Right.
And in 2020, it's fallen to just over 10.
Yeah.
And then the hardly ever curve in 1985 is 15%. And now we're up into closing in on 50% hardly ever read in their leisure time.
And you have to wonder what they mean by reading. I mean, does that mean reading stuff on social media? Or do they mean books?
Yes.
Magazines?
Yes, yeah, and we'll get into that because the headline to this is, this is a horrifying graphic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
Yeah,
we'll
you got to dig into it a lot of times. Okay. So
hello, Mad Elf.
Hello, Mad Elf.
Yes.
This is a serious
This is
beer
every year.
Yeah.
Seasonal. It varies from year to year, which is fun about a seasonal. Like when sometimes beers, commercial beers strive to have the exact same beer all the time.
Right.
But when they come out seasonally, one year can be
a little different. Yeah. This is from Troegs, the Mad Elf. It's holiday ale brewed with cherries and honey.
All right. What else
you
got?
11%. Cherries, Bing, Lambert, Van, Royal Anne, and Montmorency cherries. Interesting.
Well,
and it's a spicy Belgian yeast, it says.
Okay.
But an 11% beer,
11%?
that's like as strong as a wine.
Yes.
Some wines.
Yes, this is a gigantic glass of wine.
This is a gigantic glass of wine. This is a serious beer. And I like it. I'm going to have to stick a couple in the cellar and let it age for a couple of years. See what it's like.
Ooh, you know what? So in terms of the seasonal change, my memory of this beer is a little more cherry.
Yes.
What about you?
I'm still tasting cherry, but I agree with you that I think in the past there was even more cherry than what we got here.
But it's good. What would you say? It's strong.
It's
malty. Are you feeling the 11%?
Yeah, it's boozy.
It's boozy.
It's boozy, and I'm also tasting the honey a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Let
me try that in again.
I'm not getting as much spices, but the cherry comes through, not as strong as before, and it definitely tastes boozy.
Well, it does. It tastes like a holiday beer. I don't know if it was available in the summertime. It's unlikely I would order.
I'm not sure I would drink that.
It just feels,
it's
got that kind of a winter feel. So I had a discussion one time, and this was a few years ago. Bernie Sanders was a bigger deal than he is now.
Yeah.
Free education, free everything.
Right.
And so the person I'm talking to he says, look, let's just forget about the money. Isn't it a good thing to have more educated people?
Okay.
So there's two things going on here. One, how can you forget about the money?
Right.
Right? I mean, that's just, you mean in some fantasy world, or are you talking about it in the real world?
Mm-hmm.
And number two, the assumption that the more people that go to college, the better off both the people and the country are.
Right.
So, number one, can we just dispense with number one that you can't just forget about?
You can't forget about the money. But I understand the point of the question. I mean, like, for example, it would be nice if we could feed everybody. So you could say, look, forget about the money. Wouldn't it be nice if everybody had enough food to eat? Okay. So, I mean, you could,
I acknowledge.
Yeah. So you can, it's legit to have that sort of a mental exercise. But there's a big difference between, is there a benefit in having more educated people, and is there a benefit in having more college educated people?
Yes. Yes. So I want to discuss that maybe the problem is that people going into college, yes, you should be more educated. Here's this quote I came across a couple of times, and I don't know who it's attributed to. It said, "We used to teach Latin and Greek in high school. Now we teach remedial English in college."
Right.
So maybe, yes, it would be nice to have more educated people, but I feel like we had more educated high school graduates in the past. And I don't know what they're not being taught or whatever. Yeah. Like in one, it's like, you talk about that Latin and Greek in high school. This is like a one-room schoolhouse. Like one woman is teaching 12 grades, and the graduates, are reading Shakespeare.
Right. Yeah, or they're reading Virgil in Latin. It's like, that's pretty impressive. So, okay, so I think my concern is it a good thing to have more educated people? Yes, but are colleges actually educating people? That would be a big question.
Or let me back out of high school, and then we'll get to the college problem.
Yeah.
Do states have actual tests saying you need to know this body to graduate? And I'm thinking, if we didn't.
No.
I mean, because of the program we were in, we took math every year.
Yeah.
We took science every year.
Right.
You had to have an AP science,
right.
So ours was different. But even in that case, we didn't test.
What was your AP science?
I was chemistry.
Okay, me too.
I wish I'd done physics. I was more interested in physics.
I did AP physics and AP chemistry. Yeah.
So, and they're getting rid of AP all over the place
because it's elitist.
Yeah.
How can you have some people who are smarter than other people?
We're getting to that one. But I would say, just to be a citizen, just to be somebody who is going to vote, you have basic understanding of 8th grade civics by the time which is, how does government work?
Right.
What are the branches?
Yeah.
How does the bill get passed?
Right. What's the difference between the House and the Senate?
Yeah.
Basic stuff.
Shouldn't you have to be tested on that?
Yes.
Should we have? Is it imposing? Because I go back and forth on this because I don't like federal top down.
Yeah.
So I do want states to have the autonomy to teach, but to have to in a way to compare states. There needs to be a national test of some kind.
We did that show a little while ago about the Mississippi Miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it wasn't a miracle at all. They just actually started doing things that work. What a surprise.
And then having some accountability.
Yes.
And consequences.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but the problem nowadays is, as you say, we hear all these stories about kids in college. They're not really kids, but students in college who can't do the most elementary math problems.
All right, I've seen a couple of guys, man on the street kind of thing.
Oh,
all right, man on the street. Well, you don't know who you're talking to.
Sure.
Then there's another one where there's guys on college campisses.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, now you have a certain expectation.
Yes.
And then this is all leading up to the same thing, geography. And another one was a podcast. He comes up on my feed all the time. I can't remember the guy's name. He's always talking to young ladies. And the geographical ignorance, he kept having to dumb down. He finally got to the point where he's like, all right, just name 3 countries. Just any 3. There's 192? Any 3 countries. And she's like, America,
Africa,
France, and Asia. He's like, okay, all right, what continent are we on?
Yeah.
No, nothing.
Yeah.
All right, can you name 3 continents? Korea? It's literally that bad. I saw one on the street. It was a map with, just the outlines of states. Finally, the guy got so frustrated. He's like, point to any country on the map. And she like points to Brazil and goes, Africa? I mean, it's that bad for just normal people walking around.
I know.
How do you
and we
live
let
like
these
that?
people vote.
One of the gals was from Germany. She was born in Germany.
Okay.
Obviously, she doesn't have any accent, so she came here as a kid. They said, what countries border the United States? Mexico? And she went, Germany? I mean... What?
Well, upper Midwest is very Lutheran and very German. Maybe she's thinking of that. It is astonishing. And you run into people, the man on the street thing, you figure that they're picking the worst.
Right. It could just be for fun of the show itself. Jay Leno is going to, it's not very funny to have a guy get all the right answers.
Yes. Yeah. So you wonder if they're picking, but apparently not, because there are a lot of statistics that show that a huge percentage of the population is just dumber than a wet bag of rocks.
I was going to mail a package to Mexico, and the woman said, well, I don't know how much it's going to cost to send a package down there or up there or wherever. So you're not sure if Mexico
is north or south.
It's north or south of the United States. I mean, how do you go through life with that? What is your orientation to the world?
I know. It's hard. And I think that's a big problem with a lot of the tools that we have, that you just plug into MapQuest or Google Maps or whatever you use. How do I get from here to there? And most people have it set so that up is always the way you're going. So you really are not learning anything. You're not I have mine set so that up is always north, because I like maps and I want to see it the way I would see a map. But if you have the thing set so that up is the way you're going,
I see.
You're never learning anything. You're not learning any kind of orientation.
No.
Nothing. You're just turn right, turn left.
Yeah. Well, yes. Let's. So my other two things were algebra 1. Can you just solve for x? That's
right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Standard. Can you conjugate a verb?
Mm-hmm.
Because I hear just some reasonably smart people saying, had went.
Yeah.
You just mean went, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where you. And since we're going to get into student loan debt, how as far as economics goes,
what a loan is, and what interest is,
and what that means. So it seems like we don't have. I do have a list of states that. Let me see. States with exit exams.
Okay.
Florida, you must pass. So you already take the 10th grade English language arts, the ELA assessment.
Okay.
You already take that in the 10th grade.
Yeah.
So you have to take that again in the 12th grade.
Okay.
If you can do 10th grade, all right, that's something. Texas, New York, I'm surprised about that. Virginia, Massachusetts. Of course, there are all kinds of, retakes. But at least there's an actual graduation exam.
Mm-hmm.
And then states that have eliminated them, especially after the 2010s, California, of course, Arizona, Ohio, Washington, and Georgia have all just gotten rid of their tests altogether. But like I said, Maryland doesn't have one.
Well, testing is bad, because if you test people, some people will pass and some people will fail. And the people who fail will feel bad about themselves. And that's horrible. And also there will probably be a sex component, like maybe boys will do better than girls or girls will do better than boys. You can't have that.
I know where you're going. Don't do it. Don't say it.
Everybody knows the other side of that.
The other side, that's where we get DEI.
Yes.
Once you see a racial disparity, then that means that the test is flawed.
The test is wrong. That's right. Yeah. Whatever the thing is,
racist or whatever.
Right.
So
I have a couple questions about this getting dumber thing. So, objectively speaking, yes, we have a problem with college kids not being able to answer basic math questions, not, taking remedial math, as you said. Now, is the question, or is the problem that everybody going into college is dumber, or is it just that they're admitting more people?
Well, thank you.
So
now we kind of get back to the initial question.
Yeah.
Like, which is an Obama-Sanders thing.
Yeah.
we need to make sure it's possible for more and more and more people to go. Everybody should be going to college. I guess because they had just presided over exporting, factory jobs.
Yeah.
So now everybody has to do.
Yeah. So the idea was that we would become the service economy, and we would be all the smart people doing white collar jobs, and all the stinky, dirty jobs would be going over to other places, which was a stupid idea. But however, even at that, let's say you want to get more people into college, does that mean that you just lower the standards? That's what happens. So they say, okay, we want more people in college, therefore you don't have to read in order to go to college. You don't have to be able to solve math. So what's happened, as I understand it, looking at some of there are various tests that check these things. The NAEP, the National Assessment. Apparently, the top tier people are still smart.
Yeah.
There are a lot of smart people going to college, and they're still smart. But the problem is the bottom quartile, the bottom 25%, they're being admitted without having been tested to see if they should be there.
Yes. And
they're just dumb, and they shouldn't be in college, and that's dragging everything else down.
Right. So and what those people are doing is they're taking. We should make loans easier to get these people in who have high rates of
failure,
of not graduating.
It's just a wicked thing to do.
Or you decide, look, our school has a terrible reputation for 25% graduating in 6 years.
Yeah.
So let's just start passing people along, and then now you just have useless degrees.
Yes.
So you've just watered down and devalued that degree. And so the person says, I'm a college graduate. All right, so where'd you graduate from?
Yeah.
So it's not worth anything, and now you've got a mountain of debt.
This is the kind of thing that makes people suspicious of the government, because what's going on is, who is benefiting by getting all these dumb people into college on student loans that they'll never be able to pay back? Right. The banks. And it feeds into this idea that the government is not looking out for your interests. The government is looking out for the bank's interest. The government is looking out for the interests of the banks and the top, the high, looking out for big pharma, it's looking out for big oil, it's looking out for the
But if
big
I was
banking.
going to borrow $150,000 for a bakery,
yeah,
they would want to see my plan.
Yes.
That I am going to be able to pay this money back.
Yes.
But if I say I'm going to get $150,000 for art dance therapy,
right? Because that's education, and that's a universal good, and everybody should be educated.
Yeah. But if in their mind, this just like the bakery, they want to make sure they're going to get their money back.
But the way they
why aren't they a little harsher about who they give money to?
Because that would be racist. Because that's why they have laws that you cannot get rid of student debt through bankruptcy. You see, other debt, they want to make sure that you're a legit risk.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, you're going to start a bakery. Okay, can you cook? You do know how to bake.
Do you have any experience in this? And what's your business plan look like?
We want to make sure that you're going to succeed. We don't want to loan money to you and then find out that you're
But why isn't that the same attitude when it comes to education?
Because of this ideological commitment to education. And I think the ideological commitment to education is because of the ideological capture of the universities. The reason Obama and Sanders and all these people want everybody to go to college is because colleges are liberal indoctrination factories.
Yeah.
And they don't want them to go to college to be smarter. They want them to go to college to be more liberal.
Well, that's terrifying. So when I go back to the initial question of isn't the more people in college the better? How about the more people trained?
Sure.
How about why don't we have more money available for HVAC and whatever, real estate school or whatever, or and so how about let me get to my University of California, San Diego.
Okay.
This is the commitment. All right, I'm going to back up to Flovid.
Okay.
Which is what? Can you help me?
Flovin. Everybody should know Flovin by now.
Everybody knows this.
Flovin is the juncture of George Floyd and COVID.
Yes.
Which caused the entire country to go completely insane.
It did. And what came with that was DEI, which meant no matter what your business, service, or your institution, whatever it's designed for, that's secondary.
Mm-hmm.
DEI is first, even if you're trying to protect the nation, if you're trying to build houses, if you're trying to, that's secondary. First is making sure that we have equitable, distribution of sexual orientation, whatever. So here you go. University of San Diego said, to increase minority participation, we need to get rid of SATs.
Uh-huh.
And so in the process, the number of students needing remedial math has exploded from 1 in 100 to 1 in 8.
Wow.
And so the percentage of people who can't pack, this is a toughie here. Can you give me this one here?
Fill in the box.
Yeah.
7 plus 2 equals what plus 6?
So, 25% of the students failing that. So all I'm building up to is this is the new incoming class who's gone from 1 in 100 to 1 in 8. Well, this guy here, so back to the trades thing. Do you think that you could work in the roofing business if you can't solve that problem?
Of course not. You're wondering how many bags of shingles do you need to go on the roof, and you don't have any facility with numbers. You can't do anything. Like
So in a way, so what I'm thinking is, actually, this person is unfit for the trades.
Yes.
Maybe gender studies is the only place.
Yeah,
for
exactly. It's because you don't need to know things like
no.
math.
No. Like, I mean, you're gonna work in HVAC, and you have to tell me how many BTUs are necessary for a 3,500 square house.
Right.
House. I mean, that's math.
Yes.
And if you can't handle rounding a number,
So, I mean, speaking of gender studies, years ago. A coworker's girlfriend broke her motorcycle.
Okay.
She did something dumb and dented the gas tank. So she was taking the gas tank out to a motorcycle repair shop in my town.
Yeah.
So she was riding with me on the train out to get her gas tank repaired. So we're talking, and she was a gender studies student at Georgetown. All right.
Georgetown.
And she said that in her gender studies class, they told her that some extraordinary number, like 3 out of 5 children, were born neither male nor female and had to be operated on to make them either male or female. And I said, look, I've been through Lamaze classes 5 times. They teach you how to deliver a child in the back of a cab when the umbilical cord is wrapped around the neck. They tell you about every weird, stupid thing that can happen. Don't you think they'd have told me if something was likely?
More than a 50% chance.
More than a 50% chance that the child is not going to be male or female. Don't you think they'd have told me that? Do you have any?
She says it at an elite university in gender studies.
And this is the problem.
Now, was she complaining that they're a bunch of dummies, or did she just say?
No, she believed that. She believed that. And here's the problem: you have these college kids who go. They don't believe anybody else, but they go in and listen to some idiot gender studies teacher telling them absolute garbage, but they just soak it in. They hear this. They have no BS detector.
So it sounds like what you're telling me is that unemployable kids with too much debt is the least of our worries. It sounds like the worst part is they come out dumber that they went in.
Yes, and I'm convinced of it. Now, obviously, there are a lot of people who are getting a decent education in college and they're learning valuable stuff. No question about it. But there's also a lot of people who are going into college and coming out stupider than they started because they're getting all this idiotic garbage from their professors.
Because the university will brag about having 275 different majors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You've got your math and you've got 10 degrees in math and STEM, and then you've got, English, sociology, history, psychology. What else is going on here? I can come up with about 15 necessary measures.
Well, as you get more educated, you have to get more. You have to get into a narrower field. Right?
Well, that's for master's degrees.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm talking about just your 4 year.
Yes, you can know everything about nothing or nothing about everything. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But so I agree with you that for a basic college bachelor's degree, it should be relatively simple. It should be like liberal arts or science or politics. Something. It should be a business. You should have some basic degrees, and then when you specialize, you learn this. But what's the point of going through a 4-year degree where you study some narrow field? That you have to have a foundation first. You have to have a basic foundation of knowledge before you go into this.
That's what it should mean when a person says when a potential employer says, "Oh, you graduated from so and so, you must know." You know what I mean? You're right. You know Western civilization. You know the English canon. You know, right, as far as your basics.
You've read these books. You can do basic math. There's certain things that we should count on you knowing, and we can't count on them knowing that because a lot of them don't.
And plus that provides for, this, this is going to be some controversy here, a common culture.
Yes.
Well, can't have that.
Right. Yeah.
Back to the decline of reading thing.
Mm-hmm.
There were some people who, with this chart, with the one guy said it was horrifying, and some people pushed a little bit back. They're like, well, doesn't mean that they're, like you said, it doesn't mean that they're not reading.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually maybe spending more hours reading, but of course, if it's just reading...
They're reading tweets or something.
Tweets, right? But also, there are probably... There are some things... I said to my son, have you heard of the Mandela effect? Or something? I mean, he had.
Mm-hmm.
So, exposed to ideas that we definitely did not.
Right.
So, it doesn't mean, because they're not spending as much time reading paper, books, in their leisure time.
Yeah.
May not be that horrifying.
Yeah.
But they should at least be able to.
Well, yeah. The idea... I mean, I like books. I read books a lot, and I think it's a good thing to do to read books. But could someone be equally educated listening to YouTube videos as reading books? Possibly.
Or maybe they have a long commute and they're listening to books on tape.
Or listening to podcasts. I mean, any number of things. So it is possible that there's a sort of hubris about reading books.
Yes, and there's sort of like a curmudgeon-y, in my day we read real books with paper.
Yeah, right. So, okay, is it possible that people could be educated without reading books? Yes, it's possible. But is it really happening? I don't think so. Is it conceptually possible that someone could be a very well-educated, very well-rounded person without ever having read a book? Okay, sure, that's possible, but it's not. The fact of the matter is, the fact of the matter is if you're not reading books, then you're really not getting it.
I agree. I mean, I tried to give him a little leeway there on that one, but you're not buying it.
I'm buying it conceptually. I'm not buying it practically. And I do know a lot of people who really don't read very much. Mm-hmm. And they keep up. Okay, maybe you don't read books. Maybe you read magazines. Or maybe you read newspapers or something. Maybe maybe you go to college lectures and listen to things. There are other ways to learn things. But I still think...
I don't know. Do you know people that you would consider to be intellectually curious or engage in interesting and intellectual conversation that do not read books?
No, and I can at least see how it would be possible. but if I come up with some topic and I want to learn about something, it's the idea that I would avoid reading a book to do that. Like, yes, is it possible that I could figure it out by watching YouTube videos and listening to podcasts? Maybe, But, I mean, why? Right? You have this very clear, obvious way, which is reading a book.
But also so there's these college teachers. Where are my notes here? Yeah, my college teachers are finding that in Columbia, elite schools, that the students coming to them have not read books.
Yeah, and they won't read assignments that are longer than a few pages.
Yeah, they're like so because then they're like so in high school you weren't required to read any books.
Yeah.
So in a way, is it the college's fault, or is it the fact that they were unprepared even to get into college? So it sounds like you've got lit teachers going, I have kids who have never even read a complete book.
Yes.
She's like, I assign chapters of the Odyssey, hoping that they'll read the whole thing, and maybe they'll be inspired to, but asking them to read the whole thing.
They're too busy doing other things in school. And, what gets measured gets done. And a big part of the No Child Left Behind agenda and a lot of the other education things is they start to measure things, and then rather than actually educating kids, they're teaching to the test.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay.
So you're saying that's a little bit of a problem with my idea of everybody having the test to graduate.
Yeah.
Because
they would just teach the test. But then at least they would know the test. I mean, they at least know something. But a lot of times you have these misaligned metrics. Like let's say you find out, oh, this school district isn't graduating enough people.
Because because one of the problems, to your point, the problem is there's no accountability in these schools.
Yeah.
These schools have terrible graduation rates, and, nobody's getting fired,
So now they just graduate more people. They just say, okay, fine, we'll just give everybody an A.
Yeah.
Which is so grade inflation is a big problem.
Is a big problem.
Where you're not even measuring people by any real standard. You're just saying, we need to graduate more people?
The
okay,
vice principal's like, look, they're coming down on me from above. All those fails, can you just give them D's and, move them along?
Right. Pass them off to somebody else.
So
the system is horrible and corrupt, and there are people getting good educations.
Yes.
There are kids who are actually learning, who are the Asian kids. There are kids who are actually learning and studying and going to college and getting good educations. Yeah. That is happening in the midst of all the rest of this mess.
Yeah. No, my grandkids are doing what you said your kid did. They're in their own time, they're knocking out large books in leisure time all the time and killing every class and the grades. It's out there. It's happening.
Yes.
But broadly,
we have too many. What we've done is we lowered the standards. So we have the good students, but we also have like this 25% or whatever the number is who can't figure out a problem like 7 + 2 = what + 6.
But the smart kids are being, in the name of equity, are being prevented from excelling.
Yeah.
And so now we've gotten rid of AP classes. Yeah. And there are places who've gotten rid of the valedictorian.
Right.
Are you telling me that because the best student in the school is it's going to hurt the feelings of some dumb kids because they feel like they should be up there? They know who the smart kids are. They're not worried about. They're not worried. Why can't we celebrate excellence?
Yeah.
Because you're worried about the feelings of somebody who's less than excellent?
It's not just that. It's because the valedictorian hasn't been a Hispanic student for 10 years, so then they make it into a racial thing.
Right. And so instead, so you're either going to change the standards in some stupid way.
Yes.
Or what's the easiest part? We'll just get rid of the whole thing.
Exactly. Yes.
Like the AP courses are disproportionately
Asian kids.
The Jews, whites, and Asians. Not enough browns and blacks. So
we better just stop doing it.
So we're not going to let the kids who are already excelling to continue to excel because of equity. We just want to push. You know how you achieve equity? Not by bringing the bottom up. You bring the top down, and now everybody's pretty much the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the problems are social media not reading, DEI, and trying to push to overemphasizing.
Trying to push too many people into education who really shouldn't be.
Yeah.
College is supposed to be for top level intellectual kids.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be for everybody. And this idea that it's for everybody is just dumb.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to get some useless degree and then get some mid-level state office job.
Right.
I mean, you can go to secretary school.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like a design school, like to funnel you from high school to, business administration. That's all you're learning. You're not learning anything else.
Yeah.
And then now you can go work for county government.
I think I told you the story. They had a bunch of women applying for this job, and some of them were from like Brown University, and some of them had gone to secretary school.
Yeah.
Okay. And the women who went to secretary school came dressed well with printed out copies of their resume,
right.
That was professionally typed.
Because part of the school was how do you approach an interview?
Yes. So they presented themselves well. They answered the questions. They knew what to say. They had copies of their resume. They had everything in line. Everything was great. And then you had these women from Brown University who dressed like slobs,
pink hair, wearing a kafifi. Whatever that thing is.
I don't know what it is. And they didn't even have a resume. They didn't know how
They're just
to
like,
write
I
one.
went to Brown.
Yeah, I'm smart. I know all kinds of things about what proportion of children are born neither male nor female. But so you have that kind of problem where people aren't learning. They're not learning practical skills, and the schools. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so sum it up. In a positive way, there are plenty of good kids out there, and I'm sure they're all going to be successful. But let's not rack the ones who aren't really prepared, and don't saddle them with debt and give them expectations.
Let's stop throwing kids who shouldn't be in college into college just so they can get a lot of debt and never succeed in life because they're spend their whole life trying to pay off their debt. Cheers. Thanks so much for listening to Beer and Conversation with Pigweed and Crowhill. Remember to visit us at pigweedandcrowhill.com or send us an email at pigweedshow@gmail.com.